What's up guys? Today we're going to check out the XGIMI Horizon Ultra 4K projector. So shout out to XGIMI for sending this projector out for me to review. Inside the box we get the batteries for the remote, the user guide, power cord, the power brick, and the remote control. This is a lightweight projector weighing 11.5 pounds and measuring 10.4 inches wide by 6.7 inches in height by 8.8 inches deep. On the bottom is a 1/4 mounting insert if you want to attach this to a ceiling mount or a tripod. On the back is the power button, 3.5mm audio input, optical out, 2 HDMI ins with EARC support, 2 USB inputs, a LAN connection, and the power input. On the front are two 12-watt speakers powered by Harman Kardon. The Horizon Ultra has a spec output rating of 2300 ISO lumens powered by their dual light technology, laser plus LED, with 95.5% P3 coverage. It is a DLP projector which uses the 0.47 DMD chip to provide 4K Ultra HD resolution by pixel shifting 1080p up to 4K, so you will get 8 million pixels on screen. It is HDR capable with support for HDR10, HLG, and Dolby Vision for rich colors and deep blacks. The one really cool feature is that this has an optical zoom as well as a variable iris. This will let you zoom in or out the image as well as open up the lens for a brighter picture or allow for deeper blacks. Once you get the projector set up, you're going to be taken to the Android TV homepage. You can see here we've got some favorite apps up next. Prime Video recommended viewing, YouTube recommended viewing, so on and so forth. And also you can see how snappy navigating through the menus are. But let's go ahead really quick and just dive through some of the menu options. Now the first option we have here is environment adaptation. Now if you turn this on or off, this will either brighten or dim down the projector's laser depending on the environment and how bright or dark your environment or living room or home theater is. Since I am in a light controlled room, I'm just going to go ahead and keep this off. The next option here is iris brightness. What this setting is going to do is if you select one, you can see how the black levels got a lot better. That means that the iris in the lens is closing down, which means that less light is escaping the lens, which means better black levels. If we go ahead and select 10, this means that the lens opens up, which allows more light out, which means that you'll have a nice bright picture. But as you can see, as a side effect, your black levels are gonna suffer. But for this video, I'm going to keep it at a 10 to give you guys the brightest picture possible. However, you might want to find a middle ground depending on your screen size, what's gonna work best for your situation. The next option here is color mode. We've got cinema, vivid, bright, performance mode. This will ensure that the ventilation is unsheltered and the room temperature is no more than 25 degrees Celsius before switching to this mode. Avoid using performance mode for long periods as it may cause the device to overheat and affect the service life. Now switching this over to performance mode is going to boost the brightness, but it's also going to turn up the fan in the projector. And a side effect of that is that the fan is extremely loud and it's very noisy. The next option here is custom. This is where you can adjust your RGB settings. We've got from 1 all the way up to a +10, and you can adjust RGB, so red, green, and blue. You can also rename the preset as well. And the last option here is high color accuracy. Now this will automatically adjust brightness and color related settings and image mode custom parameters to achieve the best color accuracy. When enabled, manual adjustment of brightness, color, and image mode will affect accuracy. The next option here is color space. We've got auto, default color, DCI P3, or Rec 709. I think for this situation, just so we can get it right, we're going to select auto. And then the next option here is auto keystone correction. So here we're just going to do it manually. As you can see in the upper left hand corner, I can pull the corner inwards. So if you have this set up on a wall that is not exactly perfectly square, you can get this as square as possible by adjusting all of these different points. Now, by using this setting, as you can see, we are actually cutting into the useful, effective pixels, which means this projector with 4K resolution, by digitally manipulating the image like this, we are no longer going to be getting a 4K pixel resolution. We're going to be cutting into that pixel resolution. So what you're going to want to do is keep this as square as possible. This way you will get the best image possible out of the projector. So I highly recommend that you do not use this feature and take the time to get the projector squared up to your wall. And the next option here is optical zoom, which is a pretty cool feature that you'll find on some higher end projectors. So what this will do is zoom the projector in or out depending on your installation. At a specific point, this will dip into the digital zoom area. Now, as you dip into the digital zoom, you can see how the box outside of the effective image is actually a light gray. This is the same concept as digital keystone correction, where you're actually cutting into the effective pixels. So although you are getting a nice image in the middle of the screen, that's actually not 4K anymore because you're wasting pixels on the outside borders. So what you're going to want to do if you're using this optical zoom is try to get this as squared up and as close as possible to your wall or your projector screen. So as we digital zoom back out, we're going to meet up the image all the way back out to the outside borders. So I'm just going to bring this all the way out. Now we have a nice, clean, crisp image. The next option here is image displacement. If you are using keystone correction or digital zooming, you can move the image either left, right, or up and down. Again, this is one of those features that you don't want to use unless it's absolutely necessary. The next option here is wall color adaptation. After enabling this setting, the wall color will be automatically measured and color balance will be adjusted. The screen will automatically adjust to the brightest for the best color production. So if you are using a white wall, yellow wall, blue wall, the color will adjust to give you the closest approximation to the best color possible for that specific wall. Since I am using a white screen, I will not have to use this feature. And the next section here is keystone settings. This will reset your keystone if you adjusted it in the previous menu. You can have auto keystone start once you turn on the projector. If you bump the projector, you can have the projector automatically keystone the image to square it up with your wall. Auto obstacle avoidance, so if you happen to be walking in front of the projector or you place an object in front of the projector, the screen will digitally move the image over so you can get a nice square screen, although the image is going to shrink down. Auto screen alignment will again digitally adjust the projected image to be square on your wall. And then again, we have the wall color adaptation. Next section here is focus settings. We can automatically have the projector autofocus upon startup or autofocus upon motion. So if you bump the projector will automatically refocus the projected image. The next section here is projector placement. We've got front ceiling, rear ceiling. And then the last option here is auto vertical flip. So if you happen to be turning the projector upside down, the projector will automatically flip the image right side up. And the last section that we have is others. Here we've got HDMI control settings, so you can turn on, off the HDMI CEC controls. Focus calibration, you can have the projector automatically focus for you. We've got keystone calibration, which will automatically keystone the image for you. Same settings as we went through before. We've got Bluetooth visibility switch, so if you want to use this to connect your phone or something to it, or another remote control, you can have this on so that your device will see this projector as a connectable device. Auto eye protection will dim down the laser if you happen to walk in front of the projector, just so you don't accidentally blind yourself. And then turbo light will automatically adjust the lens and iris to boost your image brightness using the optical zoom. So the projector will zoom in or zoom out up to 20% just so you can get maximum brightness. I'm already at max size and max brightness, so I'm going to leave that feature off. And that is it for the projector settings. As far as 4K HDR support within apps, let's go ahead and first check out the Apple TV app. Now once you start up playback, you can see in the upper right hand corner that by pressing OK, you can go ahead and jump into the Dolby Vision optimal settings. So if you want to manually adjust the Dolby Vision settings, we've got Dolby Vision Bright, which is suitable for bright environments. As you can see that the image does get brighter, or Dolby Vision Dark, the image does get a little bit dimmer, but also the black levels do get a lot better. Or we've got custom settings here. So you can adjust your brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, noise reduction, and then the color temperature. We've got warm, custom, which you can adjust RGB. We've got standard, cold, and then back to warm. And the Apple TV app does indeed support 4K HDR Dolby Vision. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can fine-tune the Dolby Vision screen settings. Here you can input your screen size anywhere from 80 inches and below up to 150 inches and above. So right now I've got about 120 inches and my screen gain is 1.1. So as you can see, by adjusting these settings, the brightness and the black levels do slightly change. It's pretty subtle and it's probably not showing up in the video, but if you want to get the best optimal settings, make sure that you input your screen size settings in this section here. Let's jump out of this and hop into the Disney Plus app. And we can see that the Disney Plus app does indeed support 4K, Ultra HD, and Dolby Vision. And the last app that we're going to check out is the YouTube app. If we go over to settings, we can see under quality, this does indeed support 4K and HDR. Now, probably the most popular app is going to be the Netflix app. This projector is not a Netflix certified projector, so by going into the Google Play Store, you can see that Netflix is not supported or even available for download. So if you do want to get Netflix on this device, you will have to use an external device like an Apple TV or Roku or an Amazon Fire Stick. So Netflix is not supported with projector at the time of this video. During playback, if you hold down the menu button and go down to custom, you can change a few different settings here. Of course, we went through this a little bit earlier, so we've got brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, noise reduction, and color temperature. But we've also got motion compensation, so if you want to get frame interpolation or the soap opera effect, you can turn this off. You can put it on weak, medium, or strong. For HDR, we've got auto, here's off, and then back to auto. Then for local contrast, right now it's on weak, this is medium, and then that's on strong. Probably hard to tell in this video, but the image does get a little bit brighter when you put it on strong, and then if we just go all the way and turn it off, you should be able to see the difference between strong and then off. You can adjust gamma between 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 1.8, 1.9, 2.0, and then 2.1, and then back to 2.2. And then the last section here is dynamic contrast, which depending on what's showing on screen, this will brighten the image or dim it down to give you brighter specular highlights and deeper black levels. Here we've got the color optimization. This will help with color saturation. And then color correction, we've got color, and then hue, saturation, and lightness, which you can adjust RGB, cyan, magenta, and then yellow, and then skin tones. And then the last option is restore everything back to default. As for overall HDR colors, as you can see, this looks fantastic looking in HDR. It's an overall bright image, not quite as good as my JVC, but that projector does cost about 10 times as much. But for this price point, once again, the colors are super vibrant. It's got really nice bright specular highlights. The whites are clean, but this is overall a really solid performer and has a great 4K HDR image. Now this is a somewhat entry-level DLP projector, so the black levels are not going to be the greatest. So if you want to adjust the iris brightness from a 1 to a +10, you're going to want to adjust somewhere between the middle, which is going to give you a nice balance between brightness and black levels. But for this price point, you can see that this does throw a really good image. The blacks do lean more on gray rather than black, but for this price point, once again, and being a DLP projector, this is a perfectly acceptable image and does look really good. Now, as far as the Dolby Vision settings, I know Dolby Vision Bright is supposed to be set up for brighter rooms, and Dolby Vision Dark is supposed to be set for darker rooms. And yes, you do get darker, deeper blacks in Dolby Vision Dark. However, with Dolby Vision Bright, you do get much better shadow detail. Now, since this projector doesn't have the best black levels, I think the trade-off for me would have to be Dolby Vision Bright in a dark room setting just to recover more of that shadow detail rather than crushing shadow detail using Dolby Vision Dark. So I suppose this is one of those settings you're going to have to play around with to see which one you prefer yourself. Now for sound settings, we got a few different options. We got the Harman Kardon Original or DTS Virtual X. We've got a few different sound mode presets. We've got movie, music, sports, and then game. We've got volume balance and then digital out. So if you have this hooked up to an AVR or processor, you can change the sound output from the internal speakers, the optical out, or HDMI EARC.
I guess we'll have to eat you instead.
Why eat one meal when you can be feasting the rest of your lives?
What could you possibly offer us?
A place where you can fill your bellies. Where everything the light touches is yours for the kill.
The Pride Lands are not yours. The king controls those hunting grounds.
That's why we're going. Mufasa has always shown too much restraint.
Now, for all you 3D fans out there, this will support 3D. It supports 3D side-by-side, top and bottom, 3D to 2D conversion side-by-side, or 3D to 2D top and bottom conversion. So if you are watching a 3D Blu-ray or any one of the supported formats, this will give you a really good 3D image. At the time of this video, the Horizon Ultra is selling for $16.99. This is a great little projector that has a feature projectors costing 10 times more don't have, Dolby Vision. It's also got optical zoom and an adjustable aperture, which almost no small form factor portable projector has. What I would like to see is possibly adding lens shift in the next iteration, which would make installation more flexible. But as it is a great option for big screen movie watching that'll throw a very bright, colorful image while remaining razor sharp. It's not going to be for the die-hard competitive gamers out there, but for the casuals, it's more than sufficient. And did I mention, it still has 3D support. All you need to do is grab some DLP glasses. Overall, this is a fun little projector and worth a consideration if you want big screen 4K action without much hassle. Now, if you do want to grab one of these, I'll leave some links down below in this video's description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again in the next video.